You have just stepped into the Midlife Revolution, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacey M. Lewis. And we're two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we're here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating career shifts, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So buckle up. Let's dive into the Midlife Revolution. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we are in the 5th month of the year. It's May 1st. Congratulations, May babies. Stacey, this is a month of celebration. We just missed your celebration of your birthday last week, Stacey. Belated congrats to you on your birthday. Woo-hoo!
Woo, 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 woo. Good morning, Coach Wayne. It is so good to be here. And I'm just going to correct the record because today is actually April 30th. It's the last month. It's the last day of the greatest month of the year. Yes, I did celebrate a birthday, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about our celebration today. So before we even introduce ourselves, we're going to welcome our listening audience, our viewing audience to the Midlife Revolution. And we're going to invite you to celebrate with us because Wayne and I are excited to say that today is our 10th episode. You can tell I'm the party person, and Wayne is like, yeah, let's get this show on the road.
That's because you don't know what I have in my cup, Stacey. And maybe that's the reason why I have the date so wrong, you know. So, well, congrats to us. This is our 10th episode.
10th episode. Amazing. Time is really moving. And that means that for all of us, there's just so much for us to do in the limited time that we have. So what are we talking about today, Sir Wayne?
Well, I want to thank some of the folk that is already mentioning congrats to us and hailing us. Janelle, Kelly, thank you for joining this morning, ladies.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for celebrating with us. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Stacey, today, you know, I wanted us to speak on an area that we have discussed privately on a regular basis and how to get through it and move through it so that the second half can be our best half. And that is the area of what we call growth mindset. Now, Stacey, you know how as we evolve, we constantly hear a barrage of criticisms. You know, most of us started out when we were toddlers, kids, infants, even hearing what we can't do and what was just broken, so to speak. So we have tons and years and decades of criticisms that we have had to live with. And today we wanted to talk about how we can change that around.
I really appreciate this topic because I think that so often we are taught, trained, as you were talking about, to run from criticism. And so let's just set the criticism context that we're talking about here, that we're not talking about what a harsh boss might say to you or what someone might say to you in a condescending relationship, but we're really talking about criticism in the context of compassion and in the context of support and really wanting to see you grow. So I think the interesting thing about today's conversation is that it's something that you can apply to yourself as the recipient of criticism, but also something you can apply to someone that you might be giving criticism to, so that you can remember that compassion and the real aim of the criticism is to see someone grow, elevate. And I'm just saying, Wayne, Kelly wants to know what's in the cup.
Kelly, if I tell you, I'll have to destroy you. I can't.
I tell you, I gotta take you out.
But I'll tell you this. I have, speaking to the issue of criticism and how it works, as people of color, we know that there's a narrative that tells us that we're just not enough. We're not worthy. We don't belong. And there is, in fact, just so much negative talk, the self-critic in us, that we have to put aside. And the author Dweck, I think it's called Dweck, back in 2008, posits the idea of the growth mindset versus the limited mindset. And the growth mindset, as you were saying, is really how you reframe, how you pivot from what seems to be negative criticism, for example, and turn that around so that you can use it to make yourself launch and leverage it in a positive way. So today we want to share with our audiences some steps and some things to do where you can be effective in turning around your criticisms to make it positively work for you.
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about is that we also tend to be, sometimes we can be oversensitive to criticism, and taking things that are meant to constructively inform us and really embracing that as part of who we are or some aspect of our identity, when that's not how it's meant at all. It's really just meant to elevate and to support. So I just wanted to share that little nugget. Really, let's be aware of our sensitivities when it comes to criticism in both receiving and giving.
Love it. So let's kick it off with self-compassion, right? The idea that we must recognize that there's an inner talk, an inner dialogue that's happening that can be harsh. And if we recognize that, then in turn, the good rule is we treat others as we'd have them treat us. So not only do we have self-compassion when it comes to being a harsh critic, it's important to practice giving out some grace to others as well.
You know how I feel about the word grace. I think it is so important that we show ourselves and others grace. And in this idea of receiving criticism or constructive feedback, that we really want to make sure that we are thinking about how can we use these words to grow us, right? We're talking about a growth mindset. And if we can't use the words to grow us, then one of the things I say is bless and release. If it's not growing you, then let it go.
Absolutely. And let's move to another idea, which is, some of us, you talked about having a soft skin and sensitivity. Everything is personal. It's not always an attack on us. And so we have to remove ourselves from the idea that we're victims and become victors in our own charge, so to speak, and don't make everything so personal.
There was an old song. I want to say Jermaine Jackson sang it, but I could be wrong. But he used to sing, "Don't take it personal, take the bitter with the sweet." And it's so important that we don't take it personally. I just had the blessing of attending a leadership retreat, and there were so many opportunities there for me to hear and receive criticism and feedback from people about my pitch or about the work that I'm doing or about how I talk about it. And I had such an opportunity, even in those moments, to say, am I going to take this personally? Is she saying something that is to personally hurt me? Or is she really saying something to me that is designed to make me better, bigger, stronger, faster? And so I really, we're practicing, Wayne and I both practice what we preach, in that, really trying not to take it personally. Don't be oversensitive to what someone is saying.
And that's tough. That's very tough. But we also must recognize our triggers, right? And some of us have the habits of automatically responding to certain elements that triggers us. So I think it's important to identify the things that triggers us and create some sort of a safety net or a base. Talk about that later, perhaps. Uh, Something to save us, so to speak, rather than trigger us.
Something to save us rather than trigger us. I think I might have to use that, Wayne. I hope it's not copywritten.
No, not at all. And then, Stacy, the one that a lot of folk do use based on something that they read or coaching they have had is affirmations, but it's deeper than just, a wild chase for an affirmation. It's affirming all the time, or most of the time, because we are silently, before we act, we think and we believe. So our thoughts drive our behaviors. And therefore, if we can have affirming thinking instead of just loosely allowing our thoughts to take us down that road where the criticisms are destroying us and being destructive, how about we start affirming in positive ways the thinking that we have? I like to say, stop the stinking thinking.
Stop the stinking thinking. And, what I really like about this is that part of the affirmation is that similar to a seed, right? Without the sunshine and the water and in the right soil, the seed would not flourish. And so we have a great opportunity to receive criticism as sunshine or as the rain, to really help us grow, and to think about the fact that without these growth statements, without the feedback, how would we rise? How would we grow? And we don't want to stay stagnant. And so I think this idea of really affirming statements and declarations, declaring over yourself and using some of the feedback that you've received as, I am confident. I can move forward in this way. I am equipped to do such and such. It's really so important, just what's going on in your mind, as you said, the thinking, and really changing that narrative from something negative to something positive.
Stacey, one of the ways that I help my clients to land on solid grounds when it comes to positive affirmation for themselves and their capability and their worthiness and their belief that it's possible is to call back on a time when they have had some success, right? When they have had a win. And even if we're talking about celebrating small wins, it's important to develop the habit of doing those things, putting those wins along the way. And now we have a reference that can allow us to know that we are, in fact, possible, to affirm greatness. And that's just one of the tricks that I use, so to speak, when I work with clients to get them through that hurdle. And now,
I love it. Love it, love it. And one of the things, just thinking about this theme of strategies to manage sensitivity to criticism is also forgiving yourself. That, sometimes we make a mistake and we will get some feedback, whether it be from a client, a manager, a boss, someone we like, someone we don't like. But we'll hear that and we'll know that the error is ours or was ours. And there's such an opportunity there not to let it dig in a way that it becomes stinking thinking, but dig in a way that you can see what was done, what role you played, and what the opportunity is for forgiveness of the other person, but more importantly, forgiveness of yourself for the error or whatever it is, and really seeing it as the growth opportunity.
I love it. Forgiveness. And in speaking of forgiveness, Stacy, we have to be aware of sometimes we're overly defensive. We're ready to duke it out just because we feel like it's an attack. So it speaks to feeling it's personal, feeling that someone has harmed us. And at the end of the day, I was thinking about this seriously. The stuff that has happened in the past is not about us because we're not ourselves of the past. We're only present here and now. And so we need to forgive so that we can let go of that baggage, but also to put our defenses down and away so we can get with the business of positive vibrations.
That was so good, Wayne. I would ask you to repeat it, but I know if you're anything like me, it's like it's the cup. It's the cup, y'all. It's the cup. What's in the cup? That was just so good. That spoke to me. So my hope is that those that are in our listening and viewing lounge, that you were able to glean something from that, because I felt like that was so good. It's so good to see Curtis and Janelle and Kelly and those of you that have been supporting us. Thank you so much. We're celebrating 10 episodes today.
We love it. And Kelly, you cannot get a whiff of my cup because it will give it away for sure, for sure. Let's just say I'm a yardman, Jamaican. So
I've got no words. All
right. So now, what about just, we talked last week about emotional intelligence. And so there's this issue of managing our emotions, right? Some of the strategies that I offer in coaching, brothers, is really just breathing. Folks underestimate the power of the breath. Breathing, taking a breath when you're feeling on edge, when you're feeling like your worst critic has beaten you down to the ground, to give yourself some life force, to connect with your spirit force, and to re-energize and move forward with that growth mindset.
I say, Wayne, there's so much going on in our community chat right now that I was having a hard time staying focused. Folks are talking about the possibility of red stripes. See, that's your fault. You mentioned you said it. You said it, and no one is judging. How about that? Wayne, we also talk about as coaches, the mindset and the aspects of it. You talked about the stinking thinking. And as we think about using criticism as growth opportunity, one of the things we really have to focus on is what the narrative is in our thinking. What is the story that we're telling ourselves? And you and I have talked about just being in this season of life where we've got such great experience and we've been through so many ups and downs, and it is really kind of the wisdom well, the season of the wisdom well. And at the same time, we come up with some of these narratives that say, I'm dispensable, or I'm too old, or it's too late for me to do something, with where I am and to move forward in a way that is empowering and impactful. Should I settle? Like, those are some of the questions I find that we ask ourselves at this point, right? Should I settle to stay in this position, this job, or with this client that is not enriching me, that is not feeding my business, that is not propelling me forward in a way that's in alignment with my values and my vision? And so often, some of my clients really come in with all of this negative narrative, this emotional story that is often based in fear and untruth. And so thinking about how to use some of that, how to counter really some of that negative narrative, that stinking thinking, in ways that are based in the experiences that we have, right? So when thinking about that thought of I'm dispensable, really reconnecting with some of those past experiences of success, of impact, of meaning, and really taking that into our future. So thinking about this, the criticism that happens not only by others, that not only we deliver to others, but also that happens in our mind. And I think that, that's the beauty of coaching, right? Is getting someone to pull that out and really call a lie a lie.
Stacy, I got to give it up. I don't know what's in your cup, but I need to have some of that too. Loving it. Loving it.
I'm going coffee. I'm keeping it clean.
Yeah. So you're talking about the stories we tell ourselves, right? The stories we tell ourselves and others. And we really hold the pen that dictates the narratives. So it is time to start writing the script that works for us in the way of a growth mindset. If you are angry, the question is, really, people think this is just a natural human emotion, but it's based on limited mindset, because anger, really, when somebody acts silly and critiques you in a way that's debasing or negative, it's their issue. It's their thing. It's their own fears or pain that's being projected onto you. So don't own that and respond angrily, but in fact, try to understand by taking another person's view. In the work of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, we call that taking the second position. That means walking in the shoe of the other person and looking in and recognizing that this person is crying out for help. So let me not personalize that and get angry and retaliate. And so when it comes to those critics that are coming at you, sort of move away and find your base.
That was, again, so good, Wayne. And I hope that one of my sisters might be watching on Facebook, and or when you catch the replay, that little nugget was just for those of us, right, that find ourselves in relationship, in particular in business relationship with people. I don't know how much this happens with men, but I've experienced it myself in situations with women where they and their insecurities present in a way that comes up as criticism about you. So they're taking their insecurities, just like you're saying, coming in as broken people, and taking their insecurities and projecting them. I don't know if that's the right psychology term. I don't see Sister Audrey in the audience today, but we'll have to tap into her to make sure I'm using the right words, that are projecting their insecurities onto you. And one opportunity that we have there to take that criticism is to turn that actually into a practice of celebrating who they are, right? So that their insecurity is actually beginning to be combated. Like, I'm not going to take that criticism really, but I'm going to tell you something good about yourself, the brilliance I see in you, the way I see you handle these situations that I really appreciate and respect. Oftentimes, I think if we take a moment to celebrate the people where we can see that insecurity, right? We often can see it, but we need to celebrate each other and really start lifting each other up, even in those moments when the words are coming at you and you are like, "Ooh, I don't receive that," or "Ooh, I don't know where that's coming from." That we really get to take that moment and say, okay, I sense that this is her issue, this is his issue, and I'm not just going to leave it out there dangling. I'm actually going to take it, I'm going to represent it and celebrate or amplify this person in a way that gets them to think differently about what they just said to me.
Yeah, as a spiritual brother, one of the things that I like to remind myself is the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. As such, there are issues that you need to reconnect, as do I, when we are exhibiting those sort of behaviors that we find inappropriate. And as we come to the closing parts of our session, Stacy, let's not remember or forget, rather, let's remember that it's important to, with grace, thank the other person, give them their flowers. I'll tell you, when people come at you, it's in Aikido martial arts, you use the other person's momentum and energy to beat them. So if somebody strikes at you, you sort of carry forth and move out of the way, but sort of use that momentum of their own force to have them pitch, right? The same is true in terms of the psychological protection that you rise to when someone comes at you with the kind of criticism that is meant to hurt, harm, or destroy. And all you need to do is to move out of the way, so to speak, disarm them by smiling and being gracious, but really sincerely thanking them for raising the concern and the feedback.
I don't really know what else there is to say, Wayne. I think that was just so beautifully put. That there are so many nuggets in today's 10th episode of the Midlife Revolution. Our hope is that you were able to see one little area, if not more, where you get the opportunity to take criticism and use it for your growth, and to give criticism in ways that help each other grow, that help another person grow. So I don't even know what else to say. We certainly want to thank y'all for sticking with us.
Stacey, how about the big reveal?
What?
Is it
I don't
blue?
know. I'm a little afraid.
Is it something else? Well, it's just coffee. It's not even Blue Mountain coffee. It's just plain old Foger's or something. I don't know, but it's coffee. And I needed that pick me up this morning. Gave up the Red Bull and all that stuff, so I don't have wings. So for all the folks that are curious and in my business, it's coffee. Janelle, thanks for joining too. Kelly, Curtis, everyone that's on. We really appreciate you all today. And they can reach us, Stacy, to get the seasoned elements of coaching as we try to help people navigate through midlife so that their second half can be their
Absolutely.
best half.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Make the brighter days, the better days are ahead. For those of you in the word, you know that that's what the words say. So yes, indeed. And this is the season to seize, to shimmy, and to shine. I'm excited, but we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful one. And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution. Hey, we truly appreciate you spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
Don't forget, if today's episode resonated with you, share your thoughts and suggest topics in the comments. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, and hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.